Hi, good morning. We're just having a little bit of a kind of a funny looking, it's mostly like an old production line for chickens processing. It's a breakdown. I mean, these parts were on a assembly line, basically cut apart, thrown in a field, been sitting here for, it's been down for a couple, 3 years. So these equipment buyers come along and they'll buy all the equipment and they'll come take down the lines and they'll do a resale. So we've got a lot of pieces parts. We're going to go over it. I've got a lot of different straps and a lot of different locations. This took up quite a bit. It's a scalding unit, and got 4 straps on it. It's pretty straightforward. Everything, all the tubing is good and strong. I had no problems throwing straps up there. Then we get to these pieces. So, they're extremely narrow on the base, so they're not super stable. Got a lot of them, they're leaning up inside. There's a beam up there and some other things. But they were put on by one of those extended fork booms from the rear, and he just kind of set them, and we got them all in. So I've got a lot of it pulling forward, but I also got straps that pull straight down as much as possible, wherever I could work on this trailer. So we'll give you an idea. The beams, they may not always be welded, but they're bolted in very well, and we've got larger 4 and 3 inch straps and 2s. I used everything I had pretty much, as far as variety. Now inside here, all these pieces were cut off of this scalding unit, and while we were standing there messing with them, one of them actually fell. I said, okay, that's got to be secured. So I found some hose that he gave me, really flexible, so at least if the pieces parts fall up here, like right at the joint, or if it swings back and forth and breaks the weld and falls, I don't want to have unsecured parts falling out. Same thing as in the back here. I don't know if you can see it, but we took wire and all kinds of stuff, and there was just one piece that fell, and we tied it up to a bar on the side. So at least it couldn't work its way out on the deck. Not that it would actually go out, but you never know. Weirder things have happened. So I know it looks really wacky, but that hose is the reinforced tubing, and it's pretty strong. So at least it'll help kind of hold stuff together on the inside. I didn't have any rope. I couldn't, or at least I couldn't find it. I had a bundle at one time. I don't know where the heck. It's probably stuffed in some of the side pockets. Who knows? I went over each piece. We looked and made sure that there was nothing that was going to be loose, and there was a lot of business. You can see this stuff. There's a lot of pieces, parts, pipes, hoses, connections, all kinds of garbage. So I just want to make sure that I got my hands on everything that I could to make sure there was nothing that's loose that's going to come out into the public. You can't do that. You got to make sure that that stuff does not come off. And I've removed like pieces of rebar that were laying in a tray. I removed, and there's drain holes. I mean, that piece of rebar could work its way through the hole, bounce, go through the windshield, go right through somebody's skull. So you got to check that stuff. We're not going to have that. Not on my watch, anyway. It's pretty straightforward. This is almost like hauling a container. So, but there's no way for me to hook anything to the bottom. There is nothing there as far as chaining. It's just, you could try and put something around this base, but if it became loose and it fell down, then it's really not securing anything. So what I had to do was I just considered it like a crate, which is pretty much what it is. It does not have container locks, and I just treated it as such. This piece's parts, they've got grass and all kinds of garbage. There's this part, and there's a part in the tray, and then there's this part. And I had to actually physically get up there and lift each piece myself. So, I pretty much moved it over because I want it to be tight. You want it to where it splitches together, make sure the pieces are touching, so when you do your strapping, if it's already halfway got a gap in there, When you get down the road, that gap's going to come undone because that force of the strap that's on there is going to push it until it becomes loose and no longer has any force against it. Then you got a loose strap. That don't cut it. So I had to watch, you know, stuff like this. There was a little tiny crack in the weld because this piece had been dropped, but there was other secure welds. So I made sure that there was downward pressure and movement coverage, so anything in braking, it wouldn't put any more pressure on the legs. So I've got one strap pulling back. I had a lot of stuff to look at, folks. I'm here to tell you. Let me walk around the other side. I'm not sure how long the battery's going to last. I'm doing the best I can, but we're going to climb real quick. Then I got to get out of here. It's only 300 miles, and I stay overnight and then unload in the morning. So I'm not in a hurry. But let's look. Okay, got a lot of business. Okay, this is kind of light, but there's no edges that are sharp. I put my hands on everything. That's good. Nice rounded edges here. That's good. This edge is smoothed over. I checked. I put my hands on it. If it feels sharp to my fingers, could cut a strap. Padding. I got a whole duffel bag of carpet. So what I did was I lifted this part over here and here and made sure that it touched. So I will still keep an eye on it out of my West Coast mirror, but it is making contact down in here, you know, with these other pieces, parts. I just want to make sure, you know, it's up and against it, because when you hit vibration, I'm on a gravel road. Washboards on the gravel road, you could pretty much go probably to the end of it, get out, check your straps. Even if it's only a couple of miles, just that little bit of washboard in the gravel road will take care and settle most of your freight if you got any questions of any gaps, even if it's only an inch. So you just do the best you can to use your eyeballs and try to come up with this stuff. So I can give you an idea. Try and hold out the camera so you can see what's going on. Now these are solid steel. I had no problem pushing down on there, and it shouldn't have any problem because it's laying in a tray. There is a piece of the tray up in the front there, and this piece right here. So even if it were to walk forward, the strap's gonna catch on other pieces like that and it'll stop it. So let's just hope not. There's a lot of gravel and crap, and I'm gonna pick some of that out of there, you know. But it's used equipment, so they're not so worried about, you know, whatever they got to do to cut it to fit the pieces. Now here's some of the other equipment, just so you can see what's available, what's ready. There's probably at least 2 more truckloads, at least. Some of those conveyors, you know, they could work on a step deck, probably, you know, fit it over some of the other equipment. Some of that stuff is like 40 foot long, so, you know, they might need a flatbed and then step deck combo. Some of that is not too high. It's like 9'2", but, you know, some flatbeds are a little higher, so you just gotta be careful when you go there. Start checking it. And here's another view of the container. I can hold up the deal so you gotta see what's going on. And I stepped up on the equipment. I'm not going to do it while I'm holding the camera because it's really not a very good foothold. But this will give you an idea. Everything is inside, and he put it on with 2 yellow straps and chains. We wrapped the straps around, run chains through, put it on the fork, and then lifted it on. So once he got it on there, then he was able to fork truck the thing around just slightly and get it to line up really well. So that should work. That's about the hot take. This one I wanted to show you. I did not get the load I hauled yesterday, or the day before. It was really a drag. I wanted to catch it, but we were in such a hurry. It was a steel spindle, and they did a chain wrap that was from hell, and I didn't get it in time. When I got to the scrapyard, it was like there was no time to even mess. So I'm really sorry about that one, but the chain wraps are really pretty cool. If I get another one like that, I'll let you know. Normally I wouldn't go in. I wasn't told it was a scrapyard because I don't like going in where there's scrap steel laying in the dirt. Various pieces, parts, sharp edges. Something could get embedded in the groove of one of the tires and work its way in, and you know, there you go. So let's hope that doesn't happen. I inspected them, took the time with a screwdriver and everything just to make sure there was nothing stuck in there. Do that with gravel too, because if you don't, you'll get some pieces of gravel stuck in drives. that'll actually hog the tread out, and then it'll just sit there and it won't eject. It just will not do it. So if you see guys out there picking their tires like a bird picking over a carcass, that's that's the way it is. You got to do it on occasion, So, and that, yeah, like birds that come up to your grill. That's like a smorgasbord to them. All the bugs sitting on your bug screen on the front, and they're picking over what they want to eat for the day. That's pretty cool. Anyways, I'm getting off track. That's it. I think we've covered most everything. See you on the road.